p.m. kickoff is St Helens versus Warrington, 2 of the top 4, 2 of the form sides. What do you think is going to happen in this one? Winner and margin, Tim?
Yeah, I think Saints by 12 points on this one. I just think at home, with the game they had last week, with the big players they've got that are going to step up. I think especially when you've got Roby in the form he's in, you've got Thompson in the form he's in, Barber out the back as well. I think Wire will be there or thereabouts, but I just don't think they'll be able to compete with this Saints side. I don't think anyone can at the moment.
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat as you. I'm going Saints by 8. If I'm sticking my neck out, 24-16 is where I'm landing. I think basically Saints have just been good enough to win games. They've not been absolutely exciting, absolutely thrilling, but they can compete better than you in every area. They're going to have 8 out of 10 players when you're going to have 7 out of 10 players. It's just the way it feels at the moment. So I'm giving it to Saints, even though, like you say, Wire will stick around in this one. Okay, I think it's been announced the Sky's game, hasn't it, on Friday evening?
It has. The worst kept secret that was going to be the Sky game.
Well, it would have been Huddersfield-Wakefield if there was anything on it, I think, but as there's not, let's get some Derby passion on the TV. 7:45 p.m. kickoff. Hull FC versus Hull Kingston Rovers. Do you know what, Tim? I fancy a Hull FC bounce back. I don't think they're going to want to lose to the lads from across the river, and I think whilst Hull aren't great at the moment, I think last week was a false position with the way they were kind of getting people back into the side and that sort of stuff. I think they'll have a much more better idea who is physically ready to go for this game, and these Hull suspensions are going to play a role. James Greenwood's been coming on quite well recently, I believe.
Yeah.
And Danny Maguire is crucial. So I'm going to go for a Hull FC 8-point margin, 26-18. What do you think is going to happen?
I just think we're going to do it. I was going to say that, but I think it's going to be close. But I think the injuries that FC have got, I think that they will, partly because they don't really, it doesn't matter as much in respect to there's no after effect of this. They're going to have switched off to an element. So I think it's going to be KR, but by 6 points. That said, it's probably now going to be a 30-point drubbing, isn't it? But no, KR by 6.
It could be any of those outcomes, couldn't it? It could be 30 points either way, or it could be really close, it feels like. Because it's really hard to get where these two teams are at right now.
Especially next to each other, and then add in the Derby roulette wheel on top of it, and who knows.
But Hull FC have already claimed the Derby kind of season, haven't they? Because they won 2 already, so...
But for some reason, there is something about Cal that we do tend to lift a bit more when it's at their place.
Fair enough. Hull FC need it though for any sort of top 4 chances. You've got to feel like, okay, a game that would have meant a great deal had things fallen slightly differently last weekend. But now, really, all it means is who's going to finish in 6th position. It feels like. Friday 7:45 kickoff. Huddersfield host Wakefield. I'll give you first call on this one. How do you see this one going?
Huddersfield by 10 for me. Huddersfield has just been stringing it together. I think when they've got the cowbell behind them, they'll have that extra element. I think Wakefield will have a lot of confidence, and I think they'll be going good for it. But I just think Huddersfield are going to come ahead on this one.
Yeah, what's your margin that you're going for?
10 points.
Yeah, I'm going for similar-ish margin. I've gone Huddersfield plus 7. I'm pegging it 31-24. I just think Huddersfield are really good at the moment, and they're finding ways to beat teams. And they don't seem very disrupted. Not that Wakefield are going to be disrupted, I think, now going into this next game, this next period. But I think it's an interesting one. And I think it would have been an enjoyable one to watch on TV, aside from the fact that the atmosphere always feels a bit flat, obviously, in that big ground.
Just get Emma to stand behind you with a cowbell, like tapping it in your ear every 5 minutes.
Well, you don't need that. You can hear that on the footage. So yeah, Huddersfield by 7 for me. Friday 8 p.m. Wigan versus. This is what we were talking about before. All the games Friday 8 p.m. Wigan versus Catalan. I don't back against my side. I don't expect it. I think this one might be Wigan defensively a good. Catalan, I wonder if they're going to rest up some guys. I wonder if they're going to say to a couple of the players, hold your horses, I don't want you doing anything stupid ahead of the semi-finals.
You do need to tell quite a few of them.
Exactly, yeah. So ahead of the semi-finals. So I think that might help Wigan here. And I'm going to go with Wigan by +8 on that basis that I do get I think Catalan should rest a couple of players in any case. I do feel that way. You know, McIlaurin would be setting himself up for a bad I feel if he played. But I'm sure he will. He still might play. But yeah, I'm confident. From Wigan's perspective, I really hope we get Sami Kabula in there. That's a young kid who's got a lot of enthusiasm, who, if anyone watched the under-19s game against Widnes last week, he swung that game in the last 20 minutes or so, with a try and then a brilliant try assist. And I think that...
And you can sing his name. You got a good chant already, because you can sing his name to the tune of Eleanor Rigby, can't you?
Well, lots of other songs as well, I think.
Yeah, it's quite a rhythmic name.
Exactly, yeah. So I think I want Big Sammy to get in on that game. Wigan by 8 for me. What do you say?
I said Wigan by 10, I think. Exactly the same. Usual Catalan travel. That's 6 points in itself.
I can't remember the last time they were even competitive at the DW, to be honest.
And yeah, they tend to be away. I'm sort of arguing myself to be more, but no, we'll keep it at 10 points.
And I hope Wigan then help them out to give them a training base in the build-up to the big game in Bolton. Friday's final game, 8 p.m. kickoff. I think, or it might have changed now, times that since you write them down, they always do these days. Salford versus Leeds, anyway. Two teams battling for a bit of form consistency and that sort of stuff heading into the qualifiers. Who have you got in this one, Tim?
I see Leeds, I think, very, very similar to the Widnes game. That the unstructured side of it against I think it's not even patched up. It's the what is the next level down from patched up. Salford side and defence. I see them cutting them to ribbons to an extent. I see them doing them by 20.
Yeah, I agree that Leeds will win. I've got a slightly tighter margin. I'm not really sure what Salford are doing at the moment. I know that they're deliberately holding out some of their players that have got knocks to not exacerbate that. People like Mark Flanagan are in that category, I think, and he's a really crucial part of that side. I think I'd say Craig Kopchak is probably in that conversation as well with how things are. They can't do it in the backs because they have no one else, but in the forwards they've got a little bit more scope. Jackson Hastings should get his debut. They're going to have to give him a run out because he needs to play. So he might add a little bit of spark, but I still think Leeds. I've got Leeds by 12 in this one. 30 points to 18 is my score tip on that one. So, final game of round 23, final game of the Super League regular season. Sunday 3 p.m. Widnes versus Castleford. Even though Castleford are scratchy at the moment and weren't great last week and haven't really got the halfback combination they want on the field, I can't see Widnes doing anything but losing this game. 24-6 for Cass is what I'm going for. What about you?
I think Cass will have a reaction this week. I think they'll want to come out and prove things, and I think they'll just. I don't see Widnes being anywhere. Whatever team they're able to cobble together, I see them doing it by 30.
Fair enough. That's the Super League predicted. Championship, we've got games of the week this week. And normally, only one of these games will be in the game of the week conversation for all of the 22 rounds. But because of where we're at, there's just too many important games, really, with that top 6 being as it's set up. So, first of all, Toulouse versus Dewsbury. Arguably on paper, one of the tougher fixtures that one of these sides are going to face that are chasing that qualifier's dream. I just can't see Toulouse slipping up at home. Again, the second time in a row, I don't think it'll happen. They drew with London, obviously. So I think Toulouse will seal this one and find their way into that qualifiers and entertain us in that qualifiers. What do you think?
Yeah, I think the same. I think Toulouse at home is a strong prospect, and they entertain us, and they do tend to have a bit of a spark about them when they have been beaten the week before, so I think they'll do well.
Toronto versus Featherstone, that's one we'll be able to all catch on Saturday, late on Saturday night.
Bit of controversy on this one. Apparently, Fev offered a draw with their season tickets for one fan to win a trip to Toronto, and the winner has not been announced. So who knows what's going on there?
Well, he's going to find it hard to get time off work now, aren't they?
Yeah.
That's this state of play. I feel really sorry for Fev. The season's kind of fallen apart around the situation with the halfbacks. Tom Holmes and Martin Ridgerd both suffered injuries around the similar time, and it really derailed them. And then Leeds came and said, "We need that try scorer, thanks." That didn't help things, and that's kind of, I think it's the end of the road. I think Toronto will juggle the pack, but have got so much depth that they can afford to do it, and I think they'll win. I think it'll be closer than some of the games Toronto have had at home recently, but they'll win for me.
Yeah, same for me. I see Toronto doing this. I just see Featherstone, and with the travel, I can't see them getting together, and it's unfortunate that they have just run out of gas.
Yeah, Barrow versus London. About 6 weeks ago or so, when we first started really drilling down on this championship run-in, it looked like a bit of a tough fixture for them. But a week after, Barrow told us they only had,
25 pence in the bank. Yeah,
and no players, and they just brought out any old ringer who could fit into a shirt to sit on the bench, or whatever. And it's really gone downhill from there. So I think London will win it.
They had the conditioner on a couple of weeks ago, didn't they?
Yeah, they had some bloke just sat on the bench who used to know the chairman or something at one point.
Why not do it as a fan competition? Or the week before.
Well, the problem is that they've not announced the winner yet, Tim. That's the problem. They've been waiting for 3 weeks to announce the winner.
Hold it as an open trial the week before on the pitch. Yeah, any fan that thinks they bring your boots and you can have a go.
Comfortable for London is my view. What about you?
Yeah, I think it won't. I think it won't go all London's way, but I think they'll have enough to do it. I think the team spirit within that London camp is quite good, and I think they'll have enough to get themselves up there and do it.
Halifax have got the perfect draw, haven't they? Let's be fair about all of this.
Couldn't be better for them, could it?
Bottom of the table, Rochdale. Rochdale, who showed a bit of heart and spirit, to be fair, against Toronto, but they're winning, aren't they, at home in a game they have to win. It probably will be a close-ish scoreline because Halifax haven't really battered anyone, but still, you got to go facts, haven't you?
Yeah, quite comfortably for me.
It makes it all pretty anticlimactic when we get to Lee versus Sheffield. Sheffield are actually in decent form, and Lee are playing in some high-scoring games, so if you want to see a lot of points, I reckon there'll be 70-odd points in this game.
Get yourself down to the Lee Sports Village.
But I think Lee will win it, maybe 46-24 or something, I don't know, but yeah, that's the way I see it going. But it'll be too little too late for a Lee side who'll rue that shocking start to the season, won't they? Yeah,
just that crucial time switch, or they just didn't respect those early games and didn't get themselves up for it. So yeah, I see Lee doing this quite comfortably again, but unfortunately it will prove to be too little for them.
I think with the way the fixtures have fallen, we're just going to go with it's going to stay as is our prediction. Is that right?
Yeah, let's look at that. Yeah, because I can't see Fev winning and someone else dropping out. Yeah.
Okay.
Barring a shock result.
Yeah, and there really could be one on the cards still, even though we've seen that top six divide to bottom six suggest that it's not very likely in the championship this season, but on any given Sunday. And one of the benefits about all the Super League games being on Friday is you can get to one of these crunch games in the championship, or you can go to the League One game of the week, which we picked out: Doncaster versus Oldham. We're talking about 6th versus 3rd, but there's only 2 points between the two sides. Doncaster were on a slide until a fortnight ago. Now they're back in the race. Oldham just had a big win as well, but I think this is an intriguing one. Who do you have winning? I'll let you go first on this one, Tim.
I've gone for Donny on this one. I think they've just got a bit more class. I think Oldham have had a bit of a wobble of late, and although Oldham were very clinical when I saw them at the Butts, I favour Doncaster, I think.
Yeah, I just feel Doncaster have kind of got something working again now. They seem to be a